What can you buy with $5 trillion? The answer, anything you want.
A victim of his greed and profit, now he stands alone, waiting to be the last one to fall. In a world without tomorrow, in a world that cannot last, in a world...
Americans paying $4 a gallon at the pump are financing oil-producing nations at a rate of $500 billion a year. At $107 a barrel for crude oil, in the next 10 years, the United States will send $5 trillion to foreign nations. In April 1998, 7 indigenous people from Canada went to Iraq on a fact-finding mission.
How many people died in here, you said?
I stood in the stands in Tikrit, watching over 20,000 Iraqi soldiers parading and celebrating Saddam Hussein's birthday. We were there in Iraq to put a human face on economic sanctions. Equipped with broadcast quality cameras, we found horror in the eyes of the children. A 1995 UN study found that 567,000 Iraqi children had died in the first 5 years of economic sanctions. We videotaped children dying in the cancer wing of the hospital, dying without medicines. We had a naive belief that if only the world could see these children, the economic sanctions against Iraq will be lifted. When we got home, the media labeled us dupes of Saddam. Prior to 1990, 1 Iraqi dinar was worth $3.5 American. Iraq's largest trading partners were Russia, China, and France. By 1998, under the economic sanctions and under the UN Oil for Food program, it took 1,450 Iraqi dinars to buy $1 American. No one seemed to care when the price of gasoline was 89 cents a gallon. In April 1998, oil was close to $15 a barrel. Today, oil is at $107 a barrel and predicted to reach $150 a barrel in the near future. Production costs in some Arab countries is about $12 a barrel, and the world consumes 85 million barrels of oil a day. In Western national security circles, the reality of trillions of dollars of oil revenue flowing to foreign nations is a matter of grave concern for the United States.
China is projected to have a population increase of 161 million more people by 2020. In India, the population will increase by close to 300 million people, with both the Chinese and Indian communities booming at close to a 10% yearly growth rate. Canada's northern resources will become premium, in a world that will be running out of accessible resources. The American economy, representing 28% of the world economy, is heavily subsidized by Canadian resource wealth. Canada's gross domestic product in 2006 was over $1.1 trillion US. Only 9 countries in the world in the $1 trillion club. Only 9 countries in the world have a gross domestic product over $1 trillion US. Those 9 countries have a combined gross domestic product of over $30 trillion and control 68% of the world economy. That leaves over 180 countries in the world with a combined gross domestic product of only $14 trillion, or less than 32% of the world economy. The vast majority of the world's people do not share equally in the wealth of the world economy. While Canada and the United States have a combined landmass of over 7 million square miles, Indigenous peoples in Canada do not share in the wealth of the land. North Americans are in the top 10 highest per capita gross domestic product, but the United Nations found that the Indigenous people in Canada were in the 63rd level at the UN Living Index, and the poorest county in the United States is a Native American reservation, Pine Ridge, South Dakota.
Canada is the largest supplier of foreign oil to the United States, and the United States accounts for 72% of all foreign investment in Canada. Canada mines over 60 different metals and minerals with little or no payments or royalties to the Indigenous peoples. In the tar sands of Alberta alone, there is an estimated 1.4 trillion barrels of crude oil. Canada expects to pump more than 3 million barrels of oil a day to the American market. For some Indigenous people, demanding a share of the resource wealth means jail time. Few, if any, Americans know the real story of human rights violations in Canada.
They say we have the freedom of assembly. They say we have those basic fundamental freedoms. And when we try and exercise them, this is what happens. They arrest our people, they handcuff them, they pepper spray them, they throw them in jail.
And then they kill them!